राधा माधवा गुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरदारी जय गोपी जनवल्लभा गिरिवरदारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजना यमुनातीरावनचारी यमुनातीरावनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जयो प्रभुपदा जयो प्रभुपदा प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय श्री प्रभुपाद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदामह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. So I'd like to welcome all devotees to today's Bhagavatam class. We are discussing from the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 24, entitled Chanting the Song Sung by Lord Shiva, Rudra Geetam, texts 47 to 49. So we'll chant the first verse, text 47. Priti prahasita pangam अलकैरूपशोभितं लसत्पङ्कजकिञ्जल्का दुकूलं मृष्टकुण्डलं प्रीतिप्रहसितापाङ्गम् अलकैरूपशोभितं लसत्पङ्कजकिञ्जल्का दुकूलं मृष्टकुण्डलं प्रीतिप्रहसितापाङ्गम् अलकैरूपशोभितं लसत्पङ्कजकिञ्जल्का दुकूलं मृष्टकुण्डलम्. Word to word meaning. Preeti, merciful. Prahasita, smiling. Apangam, sidelong glance. Alakaihi, with curling hair. Rupa, beauty. Shobhitam, increased. Lasat, glittering. Pankaja, of the lotus. Kinjalka, saffron. Dukulam, clothing. Mrishta, glittering. Kundalam, earrings. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. So, translation of text 47 and 48. I'll just recite the 48 also. Spurat kirita valaya hara nupura mekalam shankachakra gada padma mala mani uttamardimat. Translation. The Lord is super excellently, this is a new word in English dictionary. Lord is super excellently beautiful on account of his open and merciful smile and his sidelong glance upon his devotees. His black hair is curly and his garments waving in the wind appear like flying saffron pollen from the lotus flowers. His glittering earrings, shining helmet, bangles, garland, ankle bells, waist belt, and various other bodily ornaments combine with the conch shell, disc, club, and lotus flower to increase the natural beauty of the Kaustuba pearl on his chest. So, purport, Srila Prabhupada. The word Prahasita Panga, referring to Krishna's smile and sidelong glances at his devotees, specifically applies to his dealings with the gopis. Krishna is always in a joking mood. when he increases the feelings of conjugal rasa in the hearts of the gopis. The conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower can be either held in his hands, Shri Shri Radha Vrindavan Bihari Bhagavan ki, Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu ki. The conch shell, club, disc, and lotus flower can either be held in his hands or seen on the palms of his hands. According to palmistry, the signs of the conch shell, club, lotus flower, and disc mark the palms of a great personality and especially indicate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 49. Simhaskanda tu shobibrat saubhaga griva kaustubam shriya napayinan kshipta nikashasmura solasat. Translation. The Lord has shoulders like the lions. Upon these shoulders are garlands, necklaces, epaulets, and all of these are always glittering. Besides these, there is the beauty of the Kaustuba Mani pearl, and on the dark chest of the Lord there are streaks named Shrivatsa, which are signs of the goddess of fortune. The glittering of these streaks excels the beauty of the golden streaks on a gold testing stone. Indeed, such beauty defeats a gold testing stone. Purport. The curling hair on the shoulders of a lion always appears very, very beautiful. Similarly, the shoulders of the Lord were just like a lion's, and the necklace and garlands along with the Kaustuba pearl necklace combine to excel the beauty of a lion. The chest of the Lord is streaked with Srivatsa lines, the sign of the goddess of fortune. Consequently, the Lord's chest excels the beauty of the testing stone of gold. The black siliceous stone on which gold is rubbed to test its value always looks very beautiful, being streaked with gold lines. Yet, the chest of the Lord excels even such a stone in its beauty. Hare Krishna. So here we are reading now the continuation of Rudra Geetam in this section, 47 onwards, actually from the yesterday's verse also, where Saratma Hari Prabhu covered, from 44th verse. After praying for purification of his antakaranas, Lord Shiva, Rudra, will actually now pray about the beauty of the Lord. So he gives in 44th verse, a beautiful verse, he actually prays that I want to see that form of the Lord, which is most dear to the devotees. In the 45th verse, he says how that form is very glistening, very beautiful. But he says, Charu ayata chaturbahu. He says there's a four-hand form of the Lord. So yesterday, Sarat Mahariposa touched. Vishnu Chakra Thakur explains in this purport, to the worshippers of Lakshmi and Narayan, it is Vishnu. But to the worshippers of Radha and Krishna, he's Krishna only. How does Krishna have four arm forms? Chakravarti Part says, yeah, when he expresses affection to the devotees, he manifests four arms so that he can exchange loving services with them. He can exchange loving dealings with them. Krishna wants to do more service. Krishna wants to serve his devotees more. So he shows that four-arm form. So sometimes people say that, these prayers are not for Krishna. These prayers are for Vishnu. Even like in Brahma's prayers in 3rd canto, 9th chapter. Actually, it's the personal form of Krishna only. Because there it's mentioned in one verse that form who is praying, that Supreme Lord, lifts his leg, shows his lotus feet. So Vishnu doesn't do that. Vishnu always stands with both feet together. But Krishna is that form which lifts to show his feet. Right? We can see Vrindavan Bihari. So always showing, that's the mercy of the Lord. He said, take darshan of my feet. So actually it is Krishna. So in this verse, Chakravarti Part says also, this is, although it seems like a Narayana Rupam, actually it is Krishna only. So in this verse, Lord Shiva is further giving the meditation. This is a top to down meditation. First he meditates on the lotus face of the Lord. Then he goes all the way to the feet. Now we came across 3rd canto in Kapila Muni section, which is considered the authorized section for doing meditation. If anyone wants to do Dhyanam or Dharanam, everyone looks at Kapila Dev section. Kapila Dev mentions how each Anga one should meditate on and what you can meditate on. Right? For example, he will say that the Brumandale, if you meditate on the, yesterday Sarat Maharipa covered this also, if you meditate on the eyebrows of the Lord, one can actually remove one's inclination for lusty desires. So like that, Kapila Dev, he gives that bona fide and very patented process of doing darshan, where you start from the lotus feet. But here Lord Shiva is starting from the head first. He's starting from the face. And then he ends at the lotus feet. So in these verses, I'll just touch a little on the purport, then we'll discuss about this top to down meditation, as well as we'll discuss about the beauty of the Lord. So in this purport, Prabhupada mentions that, yes, when Krishna smiles and gives his sidelong glances, that is especially for his dear devotees. How he's always very joking and he's expressing his loving relationship. And this last 49th verse we saw also, how the Lord's beauty exceeds the beauty of the touchstone or the testing stone. So I was very intrigued. Now, what is this testing stone? Because in today's day and age, no one in goldsmith shop does it. At least when I was young, how many we used to buy gold and all, I've never seen them doing any black stone testing, right? So obviously I Googled to find out what this is. So it is called acid stone test or gold stone test. So basically in the original way of testing gold, they would take a black stone of like Prabhupada says, silicious material, some material of black stone, and they would rub gold onto it. Now, naturally, this is like who have done engineering, you know, this is called a destructive test. Okay, destructive test is when Prabhuji knows, no? Destructive test is when you actually destroy some part of the product to test it. Okay, so you have to destroy some gold, you have to scrape some gold, lose some gold to test the gold. So when they streak on the black stone, some lines come. It looks very beautiful. Now, how to test it's pure gold or not? They put nitric acid. So when they pour nitric acid, what is not gold will wash away. And then lines are there. Oh, very good. But how much carat is it? How much carat gold is it? How do you know whether it's how good quality this gold is left? So then they add another solution, Prabhuji knows, which is called aqua regia. It's actually called royal water. Basically, it's a combination of, I think, nitric acid and hydrochloric acid or something, some combination. And when they pour that, so according to the concentration, how much gold dissipates, then they know that how many carat this is. Like that, this is the method for testing gold. Still today it is used, this nitric acid, what they do is to test gold plate. So if you have something which is gold plated, they puncture a hole into it and they pour nitric acid. So the moment it turns green, that means the base metal has reacted. That means it's gold plated. It is not fully gold. Okay, of course, another method is to bite into it. If anything you bite into it and bends, then it's not gold. If it's really gold, it would not dent. So these are the ancient 3 methods of gold testing. Nowadays, they don't do destructive tests. Nowadays, they do some solution and they just check like that. They have many methods to check whether it's 18 karat, 14 karat, 24 karat, like that. So I just thought it's very interesting because it comes in the purport. And that stone, which is multiple times tested with so many material. Imagine people buying rings and this and that. Again and again is tested. That stone looks very beautiful, decorated with streaks. Right? Sometimes we see flowers with streaks of colors. It looks very beautiful, isn't it? So this is a gold black stone which is tested. So I just thought this is something interesting to share. Other interesting points. So this Rudra Geetam, in the later verse, actually, we are on in the earlier verse, in the 31st verse, Lord Shiva actually mentions why to chant this Rudra Geetam. He says, purpose of chanting this Geetam. He says to the Prachetas, now I shall chant one mantra which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone wanting to attain the ultimate goal of life. So this section of Rudra Geetam is basically, it's a prayer to the Lord for anyone who wants to Jivan ka safal karna. If you want to achieve that purpose of life, which is Krishna Prem, isn't it? That is the purpose of life. That one should chant this mantra. At the end of the chapter, we'll see that who taught Shiva this Rudra Geetam. Although we call it Rudra Geetam because Lord Shiva spoke it, actually it was taught to him by Brahma. When Brahma, in the beginning of creation, so Brahma called all the creators. They had a meeting, board meeting. And in the board meeting, Brahma said first, this is the prayer that you should recite. Why? Because later verses will come, after this beautiful narration of the Lord, will come that the devotee, whoever's praying, will ask the Lord for protection. Now I'm going to do so many things, please protect me. Please always protect me. So Brahma says that now we are going to endeavor in creation. When you start doing creation, you're going to get stuck. with your false ego, when your clashes, isn't it? In every maintenance and construction meeting, maybe some ego clashes and difficulties will come. So you start praying. So Brahma says, no, actually, Lord Shiva says in the end of this section, this prayer was first spoken to us by Brahma, the master of all creations. The other creators, headed by Brigu, were instructed in these prayers because they wanted to create. Prabhupada will write in that purport, Lord Brahma cautioned all his sons and disciples by reciting the prayers, now which is recited by Shiva. He recited these prayers to caution them. Why? Prabhupada mentions, the material creation means material engagement. But material engagements can be counteracted if we always remember our relationship with the Lord, as that relationship is described in these prayers recited by Lord Shiva. So the whole Rudra Gitam is reminding us that who actually the Lord is. He is the supreme controller, and I am nothing but just an insignificant servant of the Lord. So this to remind us. In this way, Prabhupada says, we can remain constantly in touch with the Supreme Lord. So this is one of the glories of this Rudra Gitam. And also this Rudra Gitam is famous because it has a beautiful, very devotional Falashruti. So the Falashruti of this, which comes at the end, he says that by reciting this Rudra Gitam, you please the Lord. By pleasing the Lord, you gain His mercy. And when you get His mercy, you can get whatever you want. Isn't it? So then we think, wow, whatever I want. Is it Gadi, Bangla, Paisa? No way. Because you already want to please the Lord. Your desire is already pure. Definitely when you ask something, it's not going to be these material things. It is going to be pure devotion only. Isn't it? So it's a safe thing. Please the Lord, you get His mercy. You get His mercy, you can ask for whatever you want, you'll be granted. Then Lord Shiva says, whoever recites this Rudra Gitam and so whoever recites this Rudra Gitam and whoever allows others to recite or hear this Rudra Gitam, they are freed from all bondages. And this Rudra Gitam, just reciting this Rudra Gitam is better than any Rudra Tapasya, is any severe austerity. The greatest of all any austerities, this is greater. So this is just some interesting points I thought about Rudra Gitam. So now I would just like to share two sections. One is about this top to down meditation, which Lord Shiva is presenting. And second is about the beauty of the Lord. So this top to down meditation, like I was saying, seems to be going against what Kapila has taught. But it's not like that. In other sections, which I remember, maybe you can tell more, of Bhagavatam, there are descriptions of top to down meditation. So one which I remember was when in the Samudra Manthan Leela in 8th canto. So when the demons are flourishing, that time the demigods and Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, everyone go to Vishnu and they start praying. So that time Vishnu gives his darshan. And in that darshan, the description is given how first the demigods, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they see the beautiful face of the Lord. So I'll just read the description. Lord Brahma, this is 8th canto, 6th chapter, the beginning of the 6th chapter, 3rd verse or something like that. Lord Brahma along with Lord Shiva saw the crystal clear personal beauty of the Lord, whose blackish body resembles Markata gem, whose eyes are reddish like the depths of a lotus, who is dressed with garments that are yellow like molten gold, and whose entire body is attractively decorated. They saw his beautiful smiling lotus face, crowned with a helmet, jewels. They saw his attractive eyebrows, his cheeks, his earrings. Then they saw his belt on the waist. They saw his arms. They saw his necklace. They saw the ankles on his leg. Then they saw the other things like his flower garlands, his Kaustuba gem. They saw the goddess of fortune, and they saw all the other Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma along with him. So in this section also, they first, if you take darshan, they always tell us start at the lotus feet. But here the demigods, they immediately saw the face of the Lord. One more section that also comes in the 8th canto is when Lord Vamandev appears. Okay, this is 8th canto, 18th chapter. So when Lord Vamandev appears, Sukadev Goswami describes his beauty. Now Sukadev Goswami is describing his beauty from his face. Okay, not from his feet. He says, the body of the Supreme Lord is blackish. His face is decorated with earrings, which look like sharks. And on his chest is Srivatsa. He wore bangles on his wrist and his armlets on his arm. There's a helmet on his head. There's a belt on his waist, sacred thread across his chest, and there are ankle bells to his lotus feet. So I don't know, there may be more top-to-down meditations in Bhagavatam. Huh? face. Where is that? Which? Rupa Goswami. To Lord Krishna. Starting from the face. Okay. Correct. This Gopal Tapani. But in Bhagavatam, I don't know if there's any other. Sorry? Kunti. Okay. But then she starts from center, top, bottom because of, she says that not to start from the bottom. But ultimately, she's going from down to top only. So top to down meditation, which in Bhagavatam, I don't know. But some days ago, our Gauracharan Prabhu, he had mentioned about the story of Poondanam in Akkare Kotiur. There's two sites like he was mentioning, if you remember the class. There's a river, Akkare and Ikkare Kotiur. So there Poondanam mentioned the prayer to Lord Shiva. So then I thought I remembered one more great devotee, which is called Melpattur Narayanan Bhattatari, okay, who wrote Narayaniam in Sanskrit. So in Kerala, it is very famous, more famous than Bhagavatam. It is Bhagavatam only. And this work which is done by Melpattur Narayanan Bhatta is very interesting because he lived for about 100 years and he wrote this when he was 24 years old. So he had a guru. He's very scholarly people in Sanskrit language and all. If you read, people study Narayanam because the language is so scholarly. The Sanskrit, it's so much grammar and alankaram and the words don't mean what it means like that to understand it. No? So Narayanan Bhatta, at a young age, he saw his guru, Achyuta Pisharati. He had paralysis. He had actually paralysis and he could not function. So feeling very compassionate for his guru, he prayed to the Lord that, my Lord, whatever disease he is having, let it come onto me. And he prayed so intently that he actually became paralyzed and his guru became relieved. So in his paralyzed state now, young boy, 24 years old, he thought, what to do now? Nothing else to do. Surrender my life to Guru Ayurappan. So somehow or other he got himself and he threw himself in front of the deities. And he prayed that, my Lord, you Sakshat, you come and give me darshan. So for 100 days, he prayed. And every day he wrote one dashakam. One dashakam, so 100 dashakams are there. One dashakam has only 10 shlokas. Like that. In total, there are 1,000 shlokas. What he did was, he studied Bhagavatam. He studied Bhagavatam, and the essence of the Bhagavatam, he re-spoke it into beautiful poetry. So you will see sometimes one chapter or two chapters is covered in one verse, two verses. Like Rudra Geetam, the section is covered in one verse, half a verse. He just tells the main essence of the storyline. It is a storyline basically, but in very high Sanskrit language. So finally the 10th day comes, and when the 10th day comes, the 100th day comes, and he actually sees Sakshat Prataksha, the darshan of the Lord. So when he sees the darshan of Guru Ayur, immediately he starts to glorify the face of the Lord. So series of verses come in the 100th dashakam, where he glorifies the face, he glorifies the chest, he glorifies one, and those verses are very large because they are so much beautiful. And finally, in the very last verse, he glorifies the lotus feet of the Lord. So some people say, because Kerala doesn't have a very significant Vaishnava branch, so people say that this is Mayavad, this and that. They may say like that. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes in Jaiva Dharma that Vaishnavism is prevalent in everywhere. Like what was Gaudiya Sampradaya before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Were they know Vaishnavas? What Jayadev Goswami? Right? Which Sampradaya was he, if you think like that. So Vaishnavism was prevalent, especially if you can see the bhakti aspect of it. So Narayana Bhatta, when he worshipped these prayers, on the last day he became relieved of his illness, and he completed this Narayanam. So one of the last verses, which is very beautiful, he says, when he sees the lotus feet of the Lord, so he says, Yogindranam tvadangesu akila sumadura mukti bhajam nivaso. Yogis, Yogindranam, the best of the yogis, chalo. Forget about yogis, best of the yogis. Yogindranam tvadangesu akila sumaduram. The most sweetest part of your body, when the yogis see, what they ask? Mukti bhajam nivaso. They ask for mukti. He says the best of the best of the yogis, when they see the sweetest part of you, they ask for mukti. Thora ras abas ho gaya. Bhaktanam. What about the devotees? Say Bhaktanam kama varasham dyutaram kishalayam natate padamulam. But the devotees, onto them, you are showering mercy. And they are like this, when the rains come, the freshly sprouted grass, which comes up so fresh, isn't it? We had recently this wild food, forest food festival. So before that, I had gone to Jawar, and basically any sprout you can eat. If you go to the 100 varieties, we were just plucking, myself, Madhu Muraripu, we were plucking and eating. So anything sprout is very soft. Kinjal, very soft. So he's saying, but the devotees, your mercy on them sprouts up their devotion. That's all they want. They worship you, your lotus feet. So here he draws a line that, he's not asking for mukti, he's not asking for anything, he's asking for devotion. Like that, so many verses are there. So, and this Narayaniam is also very interesting because, of course, those days, Gaudiya means like restricted to the Goswami books. So, there's an issue with Bhagavatam because Bhagavatam only is mainly accepted by the Gaudiyas. And other Sampradayas, sometimes they fight back, they say that Bhagavatam is not complete. Bhagavatam is actually not first canto, not 12th canto, only the middle. So Jiva Goswami answers all this in his Tattva Sandarbha. He said the 12th canto Bhagavatam, 12 cantos Bhagavatam is the Bhagavatam. He says like that. But then again, this is Jiva Goswami, right? Our own Gaudiya Acharya. So interestingly, this Narayaniam also contains complete 12th canto as per the chronology of the Bhagavatam. So then modern day scholars, because now because of preaching, Gaudiya Vaishnavism has spread all over the world. And they are having interface with other Sampradayas. So other Sampradayas are saying that you are quoting your own Sampradaya Acharya. Does anybody else accept this 12th canto Bhagavatam? They say like that. He says, yeah, look at the south. There are scholarly grammatical pandits in Kerala. They are accepting the entire Bhagavatam. So they use Narayanam as a proof. They show exactly. So where Sukadev Goswami speak a bit about Brahmavad, there Narayana Bhatt also speaks like 11th canto, end of 11th canto. Suddenly he speaks that section Brahmavad. That Brahman is supreme. Because it follows the flow of Bhagavatam. So that's one interesting contribution of this. So with that top to down meditation, now I'd like to discuss about the beauty of the Lord. So in Bhagavatam, many places the beauty of the Lord is very distinctly described. In this canto itself, in the beginning of this canto, when Dhruv Maharaj wants to go to the forest, Narada Muni tests him. Then after testing him, Narada Muni instructs him what to do. He says, you worship the Lord, you go to Madhuvan, you worship the Lord. How to worship the Lord? Then he will say about the features of the Lord. So he says this beautiful word, Prasada Mimukam Shashvat Prasanna Vadenekshanam. He says like that. Again he describes. So I found it very interesting that this whole fourth canto, Parampara, is basically Dhruv Maharaj lineage. It began with Dhruv Maharaj, right? Uttanapat's son. And the whole descriptions now will end with Prachetas. And the fifth canto will begin with another branch of Uttanapat's brother. So the beginning and the end, right? Dhruv Maharaj was instructed in the personal beauty of the Lord. And here Lord Shiva is reminding Prachetas. 24 generations ago, I think 24 generations, if I remember, I counted one time. Right, all these kings, something, 12 or 24 or something. Many generations after Dhruv Maharaj come the Prachetas. So after so many generations, he's reminding him also about what your generation begin with. Narada Muni was in the same mood. Narada Muni also, why he went to Prachinabari? He said that already I have delivered Dhruva and all these great kings coming in the line of Dhruva. Ye beech mein aa gaya. Chalo isko bhi thoda bhakti mein dena padega. So Dhruv Maharaj felt compassionate on the whole lineage. Very illustrious lineage. So somehow beautifully fourth canto began with the beauty from Dhruva Maharaj section, and now Lord Shiva is again reminding us. Just before this section also, Sarvat Maharipu covered Shnigdha Pravit Ganashamam Sarva Saundrya Sangraham. The Lord is an embodiment of all beauty. So like that across Bhagavatam, many verses talk about the beauty of the Lord. So I thought, what to go so much into detail, already the details are given. So I thought, okay, let's see some themes about beauty. What about the beauty of the Lord? So in third canto, when Brahmadev is describing the kingdom of Vaikuntha, 15th chapter, there he mentions how the beauty of the Lord is more beautiful than the beautiful form of the goddess of fortune. So I thought this beauty is interesting. That Krishna is so beautiful that he's more beautiful than Lakshmi also. Right? So Prabhupada writes in the purport, I thought very interesting. He says that Krishna is called Madana Mohan. He described that Lord sometimes becomes mad after the beauty of Radharani. So therefore he is called as Madana Daha. Madana Daha. He is more beautiful than Radharani. Then Prabhupada mentions Actually, Lord is more beautiful than Lakshmi in Vaikuntha. Okay? And the devotees in Vaikuntha, they want to see the Lord as more beautiful. But the devotees in Gokula or Krishna Loka, they want to see Radharani more beautiful than Krishna. So for this adjustment, okay, because devotees desire, they want to see Radharani more beautiful than Krishna because she attracts the mind of Krishna. So to adjust this, what does Krishna have to do? Krishna, being Bhakta Vatsala, one who wants to please his devotees, he assumes such features so that all the other devotees like Brahma, Shiva and the Devatas, they become pleased. Okay, so there in the spiritual world, he assumes such features. Krishna assumes Madana Daha. He becomes attracted to the beauty of Radharani because that is what the desire of the devotees is, to see Radharani more beautiful. And then in another section in 3rd canto, just like how Kaustubha Mani is mentioned here, in the 49th verse, it is mentioned how the Lord's chest is like a lion, very broad, very attractive. And on that, already attractive, you put Kaustubha Mani, which is even more beautiful. So similarly in the 3rd canto, right, it is mentioned, Kantam cha Kaustubha Manir, Adhibhushanartham. That the Kaustubha Mani being placed on the Kanta of the Lord, the Kaustubha Mani is looking very beautiful. Right? So Prabhupada writes, it is stated herein that the beauty of the neck of the Lord enhances the beauty of the Kaustubha Mani rather than vice versa. So in this world, people dress, they put on abhushan, they put on ornaments so that they look nice. Right? Sometimes they say a gentleman is known by how he dresses. So if you're going for an interview, you wear nice coat, suit, tie, then you look very gentleman-like, isn't it? So we have to adorn something so that we look like something. If you want to people want to take you seriously, so you dress in uniform, you put some abhushan, then you become like a police officer. You take you seriously. But if you dress ordinarily, no one takes you seriously, isn't it? So last night we were coming from a program, Nitai Chaitanya Prabhu and myself. So in the mid of 9 p.m. in Gorefata, one lady who is pregnant stops our vehicle. So we stopped because this is the second time she stopped us and we know her. She's actually a police officer, but she's dressed in civil clothes. So she stops and she sits in the car and we know her because 2 days ago also we picked her up. Of course, the first day picked up, I was panicked. I was like, kaun hai aa gaya yaar? 9 o'clock at night, lady standing alone in Gorefata, waving down cars. So thoda dar jate na. So anyway, since we know, so yesterday we picked her up. And I was just thinking, she said this thing which struck my mind. She said that if I was in my uniform, I would everyone would stop for me. Everyone would stop and I'll easily get a ride. But because I'm in civil clothing, no one is stopping for me. Especially I'm a lady, pregnant, 9 o'clock at night. So people also definitely think wrong things. Right? What kind of person this might be, good character, bad character, whatever it may be. So is it very difficult? So just see the power of a uniform. So in the material world, you have to really dress to address. Right? But the Lord is not like that. The Lord accepts the abhushana, which is actually His mercy only, and He beautifies those ornaments. What is the value of an ornament if it's not decorated on the Lord? And sometimes we pluck flowers and we decorate the Lord, isn't it? When we do decoration. So flowers look very insignificant when they're outside, but when they adorn with the Lord, they look very great. Sometimes when our Madhumada fruit decorates, you never know such flowers are there in GV also, isn't it? This Hadga, this white color flower which comes. So other than that, we like to use it for some bhaji, some pakodas or something. It grows in SBT. It is fall down all over the road. No one plucks it also. But when you put that on the turban of the Lord, on the waist of the Lord, it looks so amazing. So this is the nature of the Lord. It beautifies His bhushanas. So another feature of the Supreme Lord is that just seeing or being absorbed in the beauty of the Lord, one never becomes tired. So this description comes in Govardhan Lila. The Lord purposefully lifted the Govardhan mountain just to give 7 days, 7 nights non-stop darshan. Right? Sometimes this darshan is limited to time, offerings, own capacity. But there, no option. It's like a lockdown. You can't go out, you can't go anywhere. You just have to take darshan, 7 days, 7 nights, unstoppable darshan. So were they feeling tired? Thoda kya lagta hai, pag gaya. Kabhi lockdown initially, people were feeling a bit tired. Lockdown, yeah. Under Govardhan. Thank you, bro. Class is not complete without. Yeah. But he always tells me after class. I told him, tell in between class. It'll become exciting. Thank you. So this verse comes in Govardhan Lila. Shrutritvatam sukapeksham hitvatay vrajavasibi vikshamano dadharadrim saptaham nachalat padat. So they were not tired by Shud Utrit, right? Forgetting hunger and thirst, putting it all aside of personal pleasure, the Vrajavasis stood under the Govardhan and just gazed at him. So in the purport, the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they write, by continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and the sweetness of Krishna, the residents of Vrindavan felt no hunger, no thirst, no fatigue. And Lord Krishna, seeing their beautiful forms, he also forgot about eating, drinking, and so it was a beautiful exchange. So this is the nature of the beauty of the Lord. We saw three things. First is that how, the beauty of the Lord is more beautiful. But in Gokula, Radharani is more beautiful than Krishna. So she defeats his beauty. And why? Because that's the desire of devotees. Devotees want to see Radharani more beautiful. Second thing we saw is that how Krishna's beauty beautify his ornaments also. Third, we saw that how by absorbing in the beauty of the Lord, one feels no hunger or thirst. One doesn't become satiated. Okay. And yesterday also Sarvatma Hariprus mentioned, I wanted to say the point, but then anyways, Sarvatma Hariprus discussed yesterday how people are cursing the Nimesha, they are cursing the eyelids, that this beauty is so wonderful, why is this coming in between? Not only the gopis, but in 9th canto, 24th chapter also, the descriptions come, that the residents, who? Gopis ka, yeah? But there's another verse that comes also in 10th. That's also there, that's 10th canto. But in 9th canto, 24th chapter also, the end, there comes a description, Swamurtya Loka. So they mentioned that, sign of Mahabham, that they cannot blink, so it belongs to the gopis only. So then, they of course, the Nityotsavam. So there Prabhupada mentions that they are having a continuous festival. Taking the darshan of the Lord is a Nityotsavam. We have Netrotsavam, right? Festival for the eyes. We have Nityotsavam, continual festival. So then I thought we'll end today's class with some discussion from Chaitanya Charitamrita. What Lord Krishna thinks about his own beauty. Okay? He's so beautiful, everyone's discussing about him. What does he think about his own beauty? So in Adi Lila in the beginning, where descriptions of how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes, so Lord Krishna is thinking about his beauty. He says, Swamadhurya deki Krishna korena vichara. He starts singing and he starts thinking. What does he think? Adbhuta ananta purna mora madhurima trijagate ihara keha nahi payasima. My sweetness is adbhut, amazing. Ananta, there's no end to it. Purna, it is complete. Mora madhurima. My sweetness, my beauty has no limit. Trijagate ihara keha nahi payasima. No one in the world can find the limit for this beauty. This is what I understand from my own analysis of my beauty. Krishna is saying. Amara madhurya nitya nava nava hoya swaswa prema anurupa bhakta aswadhaya. My sweetness is always new and new. Amara madhurya nitya nava nava hoya. So it's not like the repeated things. Sometimes while doing Shringar of the deities, when we dress, we see the same ornament. I say, "Arey, ye मैंने last time use किया, अभी थोड़ा अलग use करेंगे." होते ना? This one I used earlier. ठीक है ना? Last week only I used this. Hare Krishna. So, but Krishna is saying, Amara Madhurya Nitya Navanava hoy. It's every time new. There's no same thing for Krishna. Why? Swaswa Prema Anurupa Bhakta Aswada. And in their own ways, in their own unique features, devotees are relishing this sweetness. So this is like Bhagavatam, that verse come. Tvam Bhakti Yoga Paribhavrita Hirsa Roja Ase Sutekshita Pato Nanunata Prumsam. So devotees, by seeing Sruta Ikshita, by seeing through hearing, okay, that means Shastras, they understand the form of the Lord. Yad yaddiyata urughaya vibhavayanti tat vapu pranayase sat anugrahaya. Just by hearing, they are desiring different forms of the Lord. These are bona fide forms, of course, because Sutekshita Pato. It's not that imaginary Manoranjanya kuch to created from the mind. It is Shastrik forms of the Lord which they have developed desire for. Tat tat vapu, those forms. Pranayase. Why does the Lord agree to show manifest various forms? Sad anugrahaya. It is only because to show mercy to the sadganas, the bhaktas, the devotees. The Lord agrees to take various forms. So interesting, just 2 days ago, I had a discussion with someone from a different dharam. Okay? So he was saying that, different religion, he was saying that, you guys are confusing. Why do you have so many forms? Simple. One book, one God, one way. He told like that. I said that's too simplistic. Simplistic is actually a slur. Simplistic. If you tell someone you're simplistic, it's actually a derogatory term. It is not a glorification. If you say someone simplistic, I say one book, this is simplistic. I told like that. The Lord wants to relish with so many devotees, so many jivas. He takes numerous forms. There's something wrong in this. So one have to understand this verse then. That Krishna says, Nava Nava Hoy, my beauty has many forms. And Swaswa Prema Anurupa. According to their own tastes, they taste according to this, different forms. Then Krishna in CC, you want to say something, Prabhu? Yes, please. Yeah. Sa. Isn't it? Of course, Rupa Goswami can do that. He can keep one he can keep one akshar and make a beautiful Rupa Goswami can do that, but music, may not be so easy. Of course, they also have different intonations. You may say sa, sha, you can go like that, different intonations. But again, variations must be there, isn't it? So then Krishna, in CC, he continues to say, Darpanadhye deki yadi apana madhuri aswadite hoya lobha aswadite nari. If I see my own sweetness in the mirror, I am tempted to taste it, but I cannot. So this comes in beautiful pastime, that Krishna in Dwarka, when he sees his own reflection in a jeweled pillar, and he becomes stopped, he says, "My God, who's this handsome guy?" He sees himself, and he's saying, "Who's this handsome person?" He becomes stunned with his own beauty, isn't it? So like that, he comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we all know Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the holy name. What is the method that the Lord preached? He preached holy name using two things. His beauty and his vairagya. His beauty and his vairagya. So in many places across CC, I didn't even bother to compile. Okay, many places across CC, you'll see every description. Whether it's Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he first sees Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he's saying, "My God, so beautiful." Is it? Whether it's later he goes to Puri, whether whether Prataparudra Maharaj sees the beauty, he sees like 1,000 rising suns. Whether when he goes to South India, in any village, first they see the Lord's beauty, right? Whether when the Lord goes to Vrindavan, first thing, Prakashananda Saraswati, they see the Lord's beauty, they recognize the Lord's beauty. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached with his beauty, his saundarya. So it is so excellently mentioned, exclusively mentioned. Why? Because it's the beauty of Srimati Radharani. Right? Kanta. It's the beauty of Srimati Radharani. And it's also his Vairagya that also says that. So one whole chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita is dedicated to the beauty of the Lord. Right? The sweetness and opulence of the Lord. One whole chapter is dedicated. 20 Madhya Lila. So there Krishna says, रूप देखी आपनर कृष्णेर हईला चमत्कार आस्वादिते मने उठे काम स्वसौभाग यार नाम सौंदर्यादि गुणग्राम एई रूपे नित्यतर धाम. The wonderful form of Krishna in his personal feature is so great that it attracts even Krishna to taste his own association. Indeed, Krishna becomes very eager to taste it. Total beauty, total knowledge, total wealth, total strength, total fame, and total renunciation are the 6 total opulences of Krishna. He is eternally situated in his opulence. This is the beauty of the Lord. So he is complete, the most perfect. Okay, you got perfect, more perfect, and most perfect. So Krishna is the most perfect form of Supreme God. Therefore, his beauty is also perfect. So I'll just like to end about this meditation on beauty, this discussion, of what Srila Prabhupada mentions 2 very striking purports. He says in 3rd canto, When one is absorbed in seeing the beauty of the Lord, when one is absorbed in seeing the beauty of the Lord within himself, okay, externally we can see, when we go to the temple, we take darshan, but the eternal darshan goes on only when it's inside. So when one is absorbed in that eternal darshan of the beauty of the Lord, externally you may come in front of the temple, wow, beautiful, today's darshan, wow, very nice. You say like that, after we forget. So Prabhupada mentions here specifically, when one is absorbed in seeing the beauty of the Lord within oneself, material attraction can no longer disturb him. This is a test. Prabhupada gives the, what do you call, litmus test. Okay? He says this is the condition. Material attraction can no longer disturb him. Okay? Material attraction may attract you, but it won't disturb you. Even Prabhupada says, oh, so beautiful. This foreign devotees who come from where? Russia, France, or something like that. This Western, France. These Western body devotees from France, they're very beautiful. Prabhupada accepts, very beautiful. You boys and girls are very handsome, very beautiful. Accepts. So material buddhi can no longer disturb you. Prabhupada says. Another line from the purport. Another purport. One who is attracted by the beauty of Radha and Krishna cannot be attracted by the false beauty of this material world. There is some two meditating points about this beauty. So I'd like to end here. Before this, just summarize what today we saw in class. We discussed some of the purport points, interesting points about this section, some scientific points about the touchstone. How does actually the gold testing stone or acid stone test work? We discussed about that, nitric acid and all. It was like a chemistry class. Okay? Sorry? Wow. Starting with testing, end with tasting. Is it? Okay, chalega. Testing, wo bhi testing hai, chalega. I like testing. Okay? Starting with testing, end also with testing. So we discussed about that. And then we saw some interesting points about Rudra Geetam, that how this Rudra Geetam, the purpose of it is to actually achieve the perfection of life. The purpose of this Geetam. This Geet was actually taught to by Brahma as a caution that don't get entangled, remember your relationship with the Lord. This Rudra Geetam is only to remind us about our relationship with the Lord. So Brahma taught this to the maintenance and creation department. In creation, he called for a board meeting. Then, the falastruti of this section, that one pleases the Lord, one gets his mercy, one can achieve whatever one wants, and one is freed from all bondages, and of course, this is even greater than any Rudra Tapasya, than any great austerities. Then we saw about top-to-down meditations. In Bhagavatam, we shared some descriptions. You also shared from many places. Gopal Tapani Upanishad and Narayaniam, you shared from? Chatu Pushpanjali. And I shared from Narayaniam. And we discussed a bit about the glories and verse about Narayaniam. Actually, the verse in Narayaniam which says this section is a nice verse. Tada bhavat tirtam idam samagato, tada bhavat tirtam. Bhavat tirtam is purified water. Tada, at that time, after hearing this mantra of Rudra Geetam, after the prachetas were meditating in the water, or going to the water, tada, at that moment, bhavat tirtam idam, this purified place, samagato, who came? Bhavo, Shiva. Bhavo bhavat sevaka darshanardita. Bhavo bhavat sevaka. Bhava, Shiva, your servants, he become very adrita, he become very eager to take the darshan of your servants. He says like that. Prakashama sadhya purah. He appeared completely in front of prachetas. Upadishat, he gave an instruction. Bhakta tamas tavastavam. Bhakta tamas, now he calls Rudra as the best of devotees. Bhakta tamas tavastavam. Because Narayana, he is speaking to Krishna only. He's saying your stavam, your devotees, because he's speaking to him. He's saying the best of all devotees came and glorified you. This is what his instruction to prachetas is. Like that he finishes this section in Narayaniam. Like that. Then we discuss about the beauty of the Lord. Few points we saw. How many sections cover about the beauty of the Lord. Dhruva also. The beauty of the Lord defies even the beauty of Lakshmi, but nothing compared to the beauty of Radharani. His beauty is to beautify the ornaments that are given to him. His beauty is so nourishing that one feels, one is satiated, one is not satiated, and one doesn't feel desire for thirst or hunger. And then we saw what Krishna thinks about his own beauty, right? Krishna is attracted to his own beauty. He wants to taste his own beauty. He can't. That's why he comes as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached using his beauty. And finally, we saw how the complete total of all beauty is Krishna only, right? So we saw the test that Prabhupada gave 2 lines. So with that, we'd like to conclude. Thank you all very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Sri Krishna Saundarya Murti ki, Hare Krishna.